Hello guys, day 5 it is. Day 5 of the 60-day program on Amazon by Indian Seller Academy. I am Dev and I welcome you all to 60 Paisa. Today is day 5th where we are going to talk about the different Amazon selling models in terms of products. So without wasting any time, let's get started. We have a lot to cover and a lot to talk about. So yes, let's get started. Okay, so when I talk about products, right, and we are talking about products today, tomorrow we will talk about fulfillment, but today we are talking about the type of products and the various selling models on Amazon that are derived from the type of products. So when I talk about any particular product, there are only two types in general, right? Whether a particular product is a branded product or it is a non-branded product, right? So these are the two different types. A branded product will have its own color packaging, logo designing. It will look very different from a non-branded product. These are sometimes called as premium products as well. They have a higher price cost, their quality is much better, but again they come at a very good price range. They have a lot of development cost as well in terms of production. When we talk about non-branded products, they look pretty simple, where they might not have any logo. The packaging might be very simple in a brown paper, or let's say in a white cardboard box, something like that. Again, not a lot of initial investment in terms of curating that particular product, and again the selling price of the particular product might also be less on Amazon. So these are the two different categories of products, right? Be it any product, whether it is consumables, whether it is apparel, whether it is any food item, home and kitchen item, office product, any product you take, you can easily divide them whether it's a branded product or whether it's a non-branded product. Okay, now within the branded products, right, we'll cover branded products first and we will talk about the Amazon selling models that are there in the branded category. So within branded products, we have three different seller models, right? The first one is private label, the second one is white label, and the third one is where you are a reseller or distributor of a particular branded product. Okay, and I will talk about each one of them in detail. So when we talk about private label products, right, these are products where you get these products manufactured with your own design. You have your own concept and thinking behind the particular product. You tell them that this should be the material of the product, this is how it should look like, and this is my brand and my logo. Please have the complete product design according to what I have given the instructions for. This is called private label, right? You are responsible as a brand owner giving every detail about the particular product to the manufacturer who's making it, right? You can have your own manufacturing unit. If you're getting it outsourced, then you are responsible for providing the details about the shape, design, texture, color, and logo and everything, right? So this is about private label, when you as a brand owner get these things developed or created. When we talk about white label, right, they are slightly different from private label, and a lot of people confuse between the two. But when we talk about white label, right, it's like a product which has been developed in mass scale, and different brands, they try to sell the same product, but how they differentiate this product is by affixing their logo and making their brand packaging different, right? Again, I'll repeat, when we talk about private label, the packaging, logo, design, texture, color, everything is provided by the brand owner. In white label, the manufacturer will mass create a particular product which is a high demand product, but different brands will say, okay, I want to sell this particular product, even I want to sell this particular product, and they will say that, okay, you can just wrap it up in a box, the design of which I will provide you, and you can apply my logo on top of it. So this is called white label. Again, here the design and how the structure of it is totally dependent upon the manufacturer, and the brand owner is not responsible for telling or giving any suggestions in terms of the design. So that's the basic difference. First, the brand owner has more control. In the second one, the manufacturer has more control in terms of design of the product. When I talk about the design, it's the prototype of the product, right? It's not design in terms of packaging, right? The packaging is still controlled by the brand owner. When we talk about reseller model, it's pretty simple, right? Any particular product, any particular brand, they are doing well, they just hire agents or people and they ask them to sell their product in various channels, right? So let's say, for example, Procter and Gamble, Johnson's Baby Powder, and something like Johnson's Baby, right? And there are several companies who are applying this reseller model, distributor model. Tupperware is one example, and again, there are endless list, right? They have resellers all across the country, even globally, and these resellers basically either get a basically a good amount of products in advance and they sell it, and basically they take their cut and then give the money to brand, or they basically do it as a drop shipping model where they just sell the particular product from the brand to the customer and then they take a commission. It's like a drop shipping or affiliate marketing on their end. So these are the three different models where you will see on Amazon. Where you will see private label products. Examples could be Mama Earth, Moms, the Man Company, Philips, right? So these Prestige. So these are private label products, right? They have their own design and they get it under their brand name. When we talk about white label, these are like trading companies, or not even trading companies. They are like big players who have a lot of money, but they are still not big enough that they cannot get it manufactured, right? So examples would be Falong. If you search for Falong on Amazon, you will see that they sell various different products under the brand name where they apply the logo. If you search for Solimo, you will see that they apply the logo, right? So these are examples of white label products. And then when we talk about reseller, again, you will see Pepsodent, you will see Colgate, Maggie, whatnot, tons of products on Amazon which are going through the reseller model, right? Now let's talk about the pros and cons of selling these branded products and these particular business models on Amazon. So pros of branded products, right? And we will exclude the reseller model from this. Reseller is a totally different one, but we will talk about private and white label in this particular example. So the pros are, here the brand has full control over the logo and packaging, and if it's private label, they also have full control on the process, right? So it is up to you on how you want to design that particular product from outside, which is again a huge control, and you can make it look better, appealing according to your own choice. You have to establish direct connection with the suppliers, which also means that there is no in between cost cuts, right? There's no inflation of the cost, because you're directly engaging with the supplier, right? The third thing is, if you sell products by your own brand name on Amazon, you directly get the buy box. What is a buy box? Basically, let's say I'm searching for a particular product on Amazon and there might be a lot of different sellers selling a particular product. Now only one seller will be eligible to appear on the main page, on the main product detail page, and that seller is said to have the buy box, right? So again, buy box means the best seller from a list of sellers selling the same product, whose product is shown on the main product page, right? So example would be, let's say there's a pressure cooker, right? And there's a Prestige pressure cooker, right? So a lot of different sellers are selling this Prestige pressure cooker, but it might be that person A is selling at a very low cost, and that is why he is getting a lot of sales. So it might be that even though 10 sellers are selling it in one particular listing, person A will get the sales if people go to the listing and click buy, right? Because he is having the buy box. So again, if you're a brand, you're selling your own unique product, there is no one else selling your particular product, so you already have the buy box. When we talk about customizations and variation, right? Private label products and white label products are customization and variation friendly, right? You can always tweak the color, you can always change the design, you can always do some sort of a customization to improve the quality of the product, which is not a flexibility which you get when you're selling a non-branded product, and we will come to that as well. You face a lot lesser competition compared to non-branded products. When we talk about non-branded products, the whole world is selling it, but very few people have brands who are well known. Very few brand owners are able to reach that level where they are able to have an established brand on Amazon. So you have less competition when you go on private label and white label. When you sell non-branded products, there's a lot more competition. Again, since the competition is less, it means the profit margins are more, right? You have the price control. You can set a good price for your particular product. So that is another benefit of having a branded product, right? If I say that my product is a cosmetic product, and it's like from a company called Johnson's Baby Powder, right, or Johnson's Baby basically, I can price it at a higher level. But if my product is a powder but it's a generic product, right, it does not have any logo, just like a white packing paper, something around that, then again I cannot price it at a high level, right, because I do not have any name behind my product. So again, you can sell it at a higher price, you can have a higher profit margin in case your product is a branded product. That being said, there are a lot of cons as well for having a branded product, and these are some of those. You have to spend a lot on logo, on your labels, on your packaging, and on your product design, right? You might have to outsource a lot of people. You might have to find a graphic designer who's designing the packaging for you, who's creating the logo for you, who's you have to get the packaging either outsourced or ask the manufacturer to create the packaging which is allocating, or which is symbolizing your brand, and the manufacturer might be charging you a lot more for that packaging. Similarly, when we talk about branding, right, you have to spend a lot on marketing. Again, there's a lot of operational risk involved. How does operational risk come into picture? Let's say if you're a brand and you're selling a product which is maybe damaged or causes some sensitive issue to a customer, then in case they make it on social media, or they broadcast it on social media, there's a lot of operational risk, right? Your value comes down significantly. It happened with Zomato, and again, it is temporary, I agree, it is temporary, but again, you are under operational risk if you are a brand owner. Protection is in terms of, like, you have to protect your brand product, right? If someone else copies your product, then you have to be aware that that guy or that person is selling the same product as you are selling, and you have to protect it in some way or the other. It is very time incentive. Again, you have to create really high quality Amazon listings, and again, this is a plus point, I would not say it's a con, but again, from a time perspective, it takes a lot of time to create branded Amazon product listings, right? You need to have a storefront, you need to have a plus content, your brand should look and feel like a brand, right? So that's why a little bit more time is spent in terms of creating these Amazon listings. Longer lead times, right? Again, when you are creating a branded product, more often you might have to get the raw materials, or maybe even the actual product from countries outside India, right? If you're in India, in that case, right, the shipping takes a lot of time, and there are longer lead times, which means you have to prepare for at least 2 or 3 months in advance before the next shipment arrives. So this is one con of having branded products. Again, if your whole manufacturing unit is based in India, the raw materials are in India, then it's fine. But in most cases, what happens is, the product gets assembled somewhere else, gets produced somewhere else, and then the whole cycle takes longer to create a finished product. Infringement complaints and hijackers handling. So if you're a branded product, you have to ensure, again, similar to the previous point, you have to ensure that nobody else is copying your product or selling your product by your name. So this is where you have to spend a lot of time to monitor if the outside world is following the norms and are not selling your particular product. Initial growth period, yes, that's a concern as well. So when you're a brand, and when you're talking about branding, right, it comes at a cost of initial growth period, right? It's not that you will start on day one and you will start getting the fame. You will start getting the sales, no doubt. You will start getting the sales if your product is a high quality product, but in terms of brand loyalty, customer support, the voice of the customer, it will take some time to build that reputation in the market. So it comes with the initial growth period. For non-branded products, you just launch, you don't have to worry about any growth, any reviews, anything else. In terms of the last con of a branded product, it is basically you have to create new versions as the demand ceases. So let's say, for a particular example, we saw a lot of products that come into the market, people like it for like 6-7 months, and then they get bored out of it. So for brands, you have to always come up with newer versions of the same product, right? Maybe you have to change the design of the bottle, or basically the color of the particular product. So some sort of the tweak that you have to keep doing to make your audience interested, right? A particular example is Cadbury, where they keep changing and they keep making new flavors of their products, right? So Cadbury Dairy Milk, as you know, it comes up with new varieties, right? So that is one place where being a branded product is a con, where you have to think about different varieties. It's a plus as well if you think in a different way, but again, for non-branded products, this headache is not there, right? So that's what I was trying to portray and point out. Okay, now let's quickly go to the non-branded products and the models on Amazon that come from these kind of products. So the model is wholesale model, right? Wholesale is very famous, I guess, no point describing it. The second one is online or retail arbitrage, and third is drop shipping. Again, wholesale is where you have a non-branded product, doesn't come with a brand, and you buy it from a wholesaler in bulk, let's say 200 300 quantities or even more, and then you sell it in your Amazon listing or with your brand name. Right now, you can sell it with your brand name. It's just that your product will not have any logo or any packaging which says that this belongs to brand XYZ. Right, so that is about wholesale. Online and retail arbitrage is basically you saw a particular product online which is on sale. It is very cost, and it's at a heavy discount, and you think that okay, you can buy, let's say, 50 or 100 products of those from an online sale, and then you can sell it again on Amazon. So it is very common in US, where these sales are very common, and you have retail outlets, online different marketplaces where you get a lot of offer discounts, quality discounts. In India, it's not a very famous one. Again, you have these big bazaar sales and all those things going on, but again, the profit margins are very less. Right, if you're selling on Amazon, you have to consider the Amazon fees or Amazon commissions, and that is why Amazon online or retail arbitrage is not very famous in India. Again, I hope you got the idea here. Drop shipping, I hate it. Again, I'm not sure why people love it, but again, drop shipping is not a very scalable model, and specifically Amazon drop shipping doesn't work. Right, you can think about having an e-commerce website and selling your drop shipping products by Facebook ads, but when you talk about Amazon, dropshipping simply doesn't work. You have to create individual product listings and wait for the time that the person orders, and once the person orders, you will have to deliver it. Now, a lot of time it happens is that the person will order and you deliver it, the time of handling and the time of delivery increases, which is something that Amazon does not like. Amazon likes to provide prime feature. They like to provide fast delivery to the customers, right? So that is why, in terms of delivery, in terms of time, because you have to create individual listing of so many products, dropshipping is not a very scalable or profitable model on Amazon specifically. So these are the different types of models for non-branded products. We will quickly cover their positives and negatives as well. So this pros, we will talk about non-branded products, and it also includes the reseller model. Right here, we will also include the reseller model, which are for brands who have these agents selling their particular products. So here, sellers get the advantage of mapping their products, right? You don't have to spend time on creating listing. When I say mapping your product, what does it mean? So let's say there's a Prestige cooker, right? And Prestige brand will have already created a very fancy, listing on Amazon with images, with videos. And if you have got a brand authorization letter, like from a reseller model, or if your product is a generic product, not even Prestige cooker, like let's say your product is a mobile holder, right? Which is very generic, and the same design has been sold by multiple sellers. It's a wholesale, no brand, no logo, nothing, but a person has already created the listing for it. All you can do is you can just say that I'm selling the same product, these are the number of units that I have, and you can map your products to this listing. So that way, a lot of time is spent, a lot of time is saved in terms of creating the listings. Okay, now there's no brand building process involved here. There's no concept of a brand name, there's no concept of a logo, so there's no marketing, no extra expenses that are involved. Products already have the demand. Again, as I mentioned, something like a non-branded earphone, they are already in demand, right? A lot of people in India who are from tier 2, tier 3 cities, who cannot afford brands like Sony, Bolt and others, so they go for cheap products which are non-branded, and again, they're already in demand. The number of volumes of sales for these particular products are huge. So it's not that you have to worry about demand, right? These products are already in demand, and they sell from day one itself in the wholesale model. You have to find these demanding products, just copy it, get it from a wholesaler, and then sell it on Amazon. Though the profit margins are less because the competitions are high. We will talk about it in the cons. The lead time is very shorter. When you talk about non-branded products, they are normally sourced locally, right? It's either within your country or within your state that you source these products. So the lead time is shorter, which allows you to have smaller units of product. The minimum order quantity becomes smaller in this case. And then my take on non-branded products is definitely you should try them out. You should try them out because it gives you a idea, or it gives you a proof of concept whether this particular is working in the market or not. If it is working, then tomorrow you can outsource, or you can get this to convert it into your own private label or white label product, right? So just start with a 50-60 units if you're new to selling on Amazon. Do it on a wholesale model because you will get a lesser price, you will get a better price if you go with wholesale. See if the market demand is there, and then convert it to your own private label brand or your white label brand. So that's the benefit of a non-branded product where you are operating on a wholesale model. Online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, drop shipping, I am totally against it. Again, you can try it, you can give it a go, but yeah, it doesn't work on Amazon. In terms of cons of wholesale model, right? Again, you have to place high volume orders so that basically the MOQ should be high so that you get a good price. Otherwise, if you only order 100 units or let's say 80 units, you might have to pay a good initial cost. The landing cost will be a bit higher. So that would mean the profit margins are a bit less, right? In some cases, you might also require license or permit to sell your particular product, right? So let's say if you're selling a product which is being manufactured at a factory in Gujarat, and basically they are saying that in order to sell this particular product on e-commerce platforms, because it's their name that is written on the product packaging, you might need to have certain permit or license. You might need to just get approval from them in terms of a approval letter. There are price wars when you fight for buy box. So again, as I mentioned, and if you're a non-branded product and if you want to be the seller whose name is there on the first page of, or on the top on a product detail page, then you have to think about things like price, reviews, and all those things, and you have to compete for a buy box. Again, buy box is a term that we will talk about again in the next sessions as well. So you have to fight price wars to get the buy box so that you get majority of the sales. There is heavy competition again. If you are a non-branded product, if you're selling a non-branded product, very generic product, a lot of people are selling that like you, and that is why you will face a lot of competition. As I mentioned, it is not scalable beyond a certain point. You can sell 200-300 orders, but again, at the point of when you sell 300 and 400 orders, people know that this product is doing really well. They will start launching the same product again, and then you end out of business, because then there are so many sellers, there are so many people in the market who are selling the same product. So you will have to cut down either on your price or think of a different product, which comes to the next point, right? Here you will have to keep launching different products, right? You cannot stick with one particular product with the wholesale model. You have to launch a particular product, go with 300-500 units, sell it. Again, by the time it gets saturated, you have to switch to another product. So you have to keep looking for new products to launch, and that way you have to keep thinking, keep doing the hard work again and again. But in case you have an established brand, your brand is recognized, you just keep launching the same product over and over again, and the sales will automatically flow because you have the customer loyalty and trust. Again, you just have to tweak a little bit in terms of color and design, but again, the brand name is already popular, so lesser work there in terms of branded product, more work there in terms of non-branded products. Okay, so that is all we had to cover for today. As I mentioned, two types of products, branded and non-branded. Within branded, we have private label, white label, and reseller model. Within non-branded, we have wholesale drop shipping as well as the wholesale drop shipping as well as the online retail arbitrage. Again, in India, online retail arbitrage does not matter a lot. Now, again, the last point, as I mentioned, please comment, please like the video on YouTube. It helps the YouTube algorithm and it reaches the maximum number of people. The code for today's assignment is ISA 598. So that is what you have to mention in the Google form while completing your assignment, right? Again, we are out of time, so we will see you straight there live on Instagram at 10:30 p.m. tonight. And if you have any questions, we can discuss it there. We will see you tomorrow again at 10 p.m. with day 6 of the 60-day program. See you guys. Thank you for watching.